Hi, everyone. This is Heather Caroccio again for another podcast at Wellness Matters. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Kim Simmons. She's from Oswego, New York, and she is a Reiki healer. So today we're going to be talking about kind of like the beginning parts of what Reiki is and how it can be beneficial to you and like the practice of it all. So, thank you, Kim, for joining me today.
Thank you, Heather. I'm really, really happy and excited to be here today.
Yay, this is Kim's first podcast and only my, like, I don't know how many I've done, but so bear with us here. We're trying to fumble through. Um, I just want to say that Kim is an amazing guest in the fact that she and her partner at the time had started this amazing non for profit organization in Oswego. And I'm going to have her explain what that is and what they do for a little bit. And then we'll go into all things Reiki. So, Kim, could you just explain what your organization is?
Sure. So the organization is named Peaceful Remedies. It was my partner that you spoke of was Mary Gosick. She was actually the founder of the organization, and it came out of Mary being diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and which was a battle that she did lose in 2017. She really just wanted something, as she went through the medical process of having a diagnosis, she knew that there was something else, or she knew that she needed something else. So she wanted to create an organization that didn't replace medical treatment, but complemented it and empowered people to do whatever they could do to increase their health and wellness.
That's
So the,
amazing.
the organization, I can't believe this. The organization was 5 years old this past spring,
Yay.
which seems so short. It seems like it's a young organization, but we have done so much in the last 5 years. So we offer several programs and services to anyone that's been diagnosed with anything. There's a misconception for many that we're a cancer organization, and we are not. We certainly have plenty of participants who have cancer, but we have people who have been diagnosed with MS or Lyme disease or lupus, or whatever it is that has altered your life so that you're not living it the way that you used to.
That's so amazing because I feel like every town should have a place where people can retreat and try to heal, a little more organically than what the status quo is. So I think that whole philosophy is amazing, and I applaud you and your former partner for starting this.
Thank you.
So,
I want to mention also that along that journey, that diagnosis journey, it's really a journey for everyone who loves you. So everything that we offer is also open to caregivers and immediate family members.
that's so amazing. So, what are some of the therapies that you offer at Peaceful Remedies?
So we focus on holistic therapies. We have Reiki, first of all, offered. Massage therapy. We have a meditation group. We have 2 support groups. We have a yoga class that is specific for cancer survivors. We were just, when COVID hit in the spring, the end of last year, we had experimented with a healing drum circle that met for 3 months, and it was quite successful. We were going to kick that off as a regular program this year, and then we sort of had to close that down, but we're expecting that to happen.
Oh,
Life
wow.
gets back to normal.
Yeah.
We have some sound healing, sound harmonic healing that takes place on a one-on-one session also.
So amazing. So if you're somebody that is, going through a really hard time right now, or a caregiver for somebody who's going through a really hard time, you have like a plethora of different therapies to try and see what works best for you, because it's not one size fits all kind of thing. But so I think that is just amazing that you offer so many different things.
We are pretty proud of it. The community has been integral in making the whole thing happen. We are 99% volunteer based. All of our Reiki practitioners, massage therapists, anyone, it's all volunteer based, which is pretty amazing.
See, there are so many good people.
Yes, there are. Yes,
So
far
many.
more good people.
Yes. So I want to get into the practice of Reiki. So I'm just going to ask that you kind of, this is kind of like an introductory podcast to Reiki. So I want to, if you think that something's a little too complex, then just try to condense it a little bit for the listeners. But what actually is Reiki?
So simply put, Reiki is a holistic technique that channels energy through the practitioner to the client. If you think about the world, science shows us that literally everything in the world is made of energy.
Right.
Whether it's inanimate or living, everything is made of energy. We are made of energy down to our smallest particle, it's our cells. And so there are things within our body, energy-wise, that can maybe get out of balance or get stuck or just not be functioning at its optimum.
Okay.
So introducing Reiki energy to a client's body helps to, I would say, cure, or it prompts your body to heal itself.
Right. So, like, the understanding that I kind of got from that is when the practitioner is working on the client, they're trying to move blockages. Would you say that that's a fair way of saying, like, to open up space?
It's one of the things.
Okay.
It could be an energy blockage or some stagnant energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's moving, but maybe not moving fast, because really you want the energy to be flowing through your entire body.
Right.
Easily.
Right.
Truly flowing. As a society, we tend to pull our energy to the top part of our bodies. We're in our brains, we're in our minds, we're in the top part of our body a lot. And we really want that energy to be flowing through your entire body, right down to your feet, where you are feeling grounded and connected.
So the other kind of piece to the puzzle that, through doing my research on Reiki, I found that it kind of correlates with the 7 main chakras in your body, correct?
It does. So there are many, and you're right, 7 main chakras, because there are many, and a chakra is an energy center, sort of. And there are many of those in our body.
Right.
But there are 7 main that run from the base of our spine to the top of our head. And that is one of the things that a practitioner will check for, those 7 main energy points and how they're functioning. I think a lot of people don't understand that, they think, well, a chakra is either working or it's not, or it's blocked or it's not. Actually, a chakra can be blocked. It can have not enough energy. It actually can also have too much energy. I would say, again, our minds would be an example of that. We tend to pull a lot of our energy to our minds, and sometimes it's too much.
Right.
What's there?
Get it overwhelmed, or even probably, have headaches, stress headaches, and all all the things that we are subjected to on a daily basis
Right.
and today.
And that will actually influence your actions.
Yeah.
For example, your throat chakra, if it's closed, you're not speaking up. You're not speaking your truth. Mm-hmm. You're not, communicating well.
Right.
If it's open, you can't stop. It's, it's what we call it not having a filter. Like everything is just pouring out.
Right. So what I actually did a blog on chakras, and so and I've just been reading books on it. And so you technically, from what I read, was you can be, the chakra isn't opened enough, or it's just right, or it's open too much.
Right.
So what we all kind of want to do is stay in that middle lane for all 7 chakras. And the other thing that that spoke to me was you got 3 chakras from your root chakra down at the base of your spine to the top, to your stomach area. And then is the heart chakra the median line or whatever? And then you got 3 above?
Yeah. The heart chakra is the chakra that connects the bottom 3 to the top 3.
The top 3. So
which really just makes sense.
Right.
Your heart, your center of love and compassion and connection, emotional connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that, center.
Yeah. So you want to, as the Reiki practitioner, so you don't necessarily always focus on those 7 chakras. You're just kind of working on the overall energy of the person, or do you really focus on those 7?
No, I think those 7 chakras give us information, but it's not always there. There can be other energy blockages or energy issues other places in the body. If you're feeling shoulder pain,
yeah,
I mean, that's related to energy.
That's true.
And a practitioner can often tell. Unlike a doctor, when a client comes to me, I don't need to know anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me absolutely anything. And I can usually hone in. I can't diagnose. I can't really tell, this is what you're feeling and this is why you're feeling it. But I do know that I'll feel drawn to a certain area.
Yeah. That's really cool. So one of my questions to you is, what does a typical session look like? So you would have somebody just lay down on their back. Do you have a bed that they lay on, or how does your typical sessions look?
Okay, so a typical session, yes, I have a massage table, which is what most people choose, but it also can be done just sitting in a chair if someone, doesn't feel comfortable either climbing up on the table or it's uncomfortable for them to be lying down. Again, I don't need to know why they're there or what's hurting or what is bothering them, because it may not be, we talked about the blockages in the energy. Those blockages, it's not just a physical thing.
Right.
Reiki energy will also reach out to emotional issues, mental issues, even spiritual issues, because sometimes our physical pain is the cause is coming from an emotional.
Right. It's like a message from your body.
Yeah, not just a typical. So at the beginning, yes, they're lying down, depending on the person. And I don't really know how to explain this other than as you practice Reiki more and more as a practitioner, your intuition seems to grow. So what I do to prep the patient, the client to start the session may be different. It may be, a breathing exercise to relax them. It may be a meditation. Sometimes I have people start by lying on their front side, and I do this chakra balancing quick activity, takes, 5-6 minutes, and then have them turn over. But something to relax them.
Right. So it's important that they're relaxed in order for you to get the feeling of what's going on, would you say?
No, they don't have to be relaxed for me to feel that, but I think, their experience, and this just goes back, this is kind of a side note. There was a book I read, Lissa Rankin wrote it. She's a medical doctor, but has since kind of flipped to being more of an integrative doctor. But, in the entire book, you can read a whole book and you hope that you remember just one thing. And the one thing that stuck out for me from that book was our body can either produce healing hormones or stress hormones.
Yeah.
They can't do them both at the same time.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So relaxing a client, to me, flips them over into that healing and wellness.
So would you say, like, it's the difference between being in the parasympathetic nervous system or,
Yes.
versus the sympathetic? So the rest, digest, and heal versus the doing, like where I feel like we all are all the time is go, 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 do, do, do. And so that stress hormone's probably going to be pretty, yeah.
And that's actually one of the things I usually say to clients at the beginning is, all that stuff, it's going to be there. Don't worry. It's still going to be there, but we're just going to put it over here for an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even suggest to people, and this came out of some of the meditation that I used to do at the Zen Center in Syracuse. I wanted to hold on to everything. I didn't want to lose it. I actually had to think about a box. Okay, I have a box and all that stuff is in that box and it's right here, right near me. So don't worry, it's still gonna be there.
Yeah, like even like a visualization of, so this was crazy. My son, he's 12 now, but I would say it was probably about a year ago. I was tucking him in at night and, he was kind of stressing about something. He's like, oh, I gotta do what I do to de-stress. And I go, what's that? And he goes,
please share.
Yeah. This is coming from a child. And he goes, well, I close my eyes and I think of my brain as a computer. And I take my stress and put it on like in a folder in the computer. And then I bring it to the garbage can and put it to rest, basically. And I was like, what in the world? Right now. Isn't that an amazing visualization?
It's an amazing, and I can see that being turned into a meditation, like a guided meditation.
Yeah. I have always told my kids to visualize that their emotions are up in a cloud above their head and the wind is pushing that cloud away. If it's an emotion you don't want to feel, visualize that cloud being pushed away. But he came up with this whole computer, file into the garbage can. And I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe you came up with this,
That's really amazing. And another comment I just want to make, which is, it's all involved with this, but there's so many branches.
Yeah.
Our thoughts are also made of energy.
Right.
And have tremendous power.
Oh, yeah. That's what I've said over and over in different podcasts, but really in my blogs, that, what we are thinking and saying to ourselves in our mind dictates our life, dictates every move we make, every emotion that we're feeling. And one of the things that, I talked to my neighbor about recently was, she was becoming victim to her own thoughts a lot. And I said, you got to flip the script, go from whatever you're thinking and flip it to the other way. And so she and I will, text back and forth. She was like, I just got to flip the script. So
it's true. It's true. Even if you don't believe it at the beginning, it's one of those fake it till you make it things.
Yes.
Just think it and say it. Even if you're not there yet, you will.
100%. It's our minds are so, they're very complex, but in the same token, I feel like it's pretty simple if you practice positivity over and over and over again. Eventually that becomes, your new normal. It's just
Yes.
so hard getting there, especially when we have so many stressors today, that say absolutely not, you can't be positive, there's too many negativities going on, how can you possibly. But if you keep telling yourself that those are lessons, or the person that you're so angry at is really your teacher, and you just keep flipping the script that way. It's
Yeah.
easier said than done, I know, but that's how crazy our minds are. And like you said, it's just more energy. Do you want positive energy flowing, or do you want negative?
Yes. Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
but anyway, I'm totally digressing here.
That's okay.
Um,
So, I just to finish out a typical session. Once we have begun. Everyone's settled. Everyone's comfortable with whatever. Clients are fully clothed. Make sure that they're comfortable with whatever they want: pillow, bolster, eye pillow. The temperatures, what they want. The sound, the volume of the music is at a level that's comfortable.
yeah.
Everything's good.
Do you use
or
crystals?
no music at all if they would prefer.
Do you have crystals available, or like, do you use crystals in the sessions, or
I do. So I was going to bring that up.
another rabbit hole we could go down?
No kidding. Not all Reiki practitioners do this.
Oh, okay.
But more and more, I use some aromatherapy.
Mm-hmm.
Usually have a diffuser going with essential oils.
Yeah.
I use some healing crystals. I'm really, really drawn to sound healing.
I that's a whole nother area I'd like to go into at some point. Not today,
Right.
but I
That's
want to.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to, if I do know where the client is at and what they're experiencing and why they're coming to me, I try to choose music that is set to a certain frequency that's going to support their healing and whatever they're feeling. So those are
Okay.
some of the.
So you kind of individualize each session to the particular client's liking.
Absolutely, but that is definitely a practice thing. When you start practicing Reiki, there are 12 hand positions, and you kind of just go through all the 12 hand positions, knowing that you're going to hit everything. And it really takes, there are 3 levels of training, and it really takes time to develop the confidence. It takes time to get to know yourself as a practitioner, and okay, this is what I'm feeling, and because I've experienced this several times, now I know what that means. If I have a certain sensation, I know what that means.
Yeah.
So yes, when I started out, it was not extremely individualized.
Right.
Now it is more. I think my intuition is higher, and I have more tools than I had when I first started.
Of course. Yeah. That makes total sense. Now, one of my questions I have for you is, do you perform other therapies, or is Reiki like your jam?
Reiki started my jam. I do facilitate a meditation group, a mindful meditation group, and I really consider that to be a healing modality also.
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone should be meditating, and I am guilty of this. I get away from it sometimes, but then I go back to it. But realistically, I feel like everyone should be meditating at least once a day, if not, twice, and whatever you're feeling that day, but at least once a day, to get back in touch with yourself again.
Yeah. And that's like a whole other 1, 2, or even 3 podcasts. I'm not sure.
Absolutely. I know. I can't say enough good things about meditation, even though I know that there's so much more in that whole practice that I need to learn myself, because it's all about settling down and settling your thoughts and practicing your breathing, and it can be a lot, even though it's just like the simplest act of what we're all, this is what keeps us alive. We should be able to relax and focus on our breathing, but it's so hard for so many people. But
Well, I actually was thinking about meditation a few minutes ago. You said something was simple, and I thought, that's meditation. It's a simple concept.
Yeah.
The difficulty comes in just do it. Just do it.
Just do it. Carve out that time.
Yes.
Both of my parents, I know, they, as soon as they wake up in the morning, because they're like, bing, I'm ready to go. And you and I had just discussed before this podcast that I am not like that. I would fall asleep if I did it. But what they do is they both wake up in the morning and probably do a couple affirmations, and then they do a guided meditation from something, probably on their phone or whatnot. But that's how they start their day. And, when I wake up, I do like 3 things I, tell the universe that I'm grateful for every single day, different things, which is a nice little ritual that I have started doing. But if you got to find that time to build it into your day to meditate.
Yes.
Even if it is first thing, as soon as your eyes
Yes.
open. So,
Yes.
but for me, that wouldn't happen because I literally would fall asleep. Back to sleep I'd go.
Well, going back to the words and thoughts and how important they are. And I usually ask clients to set an intention, which they don't share with me.
Yeah.
But just set an intention before the session begins.
Yeah, because that is so personal. It's almost like when you have your birthday cake in front of you, you got to blow out the candles. You don't want anybody to know your wish, right?
Right.
It's just for you and yourself to know. And when you set that intention, you are the one that's going to reap the benefits from that.
You're going to reap the benefits. And just by setting it, and you don't have to continue to focus on it. You just have to set the intention and plant the seed.
Yeah.
And that alone will just attract the energy.
Yeah.
To your intention and what you would like to happen.
I know one of my, somewhere along the way that I just picked up and I absolutely think about all the time is what you put out into the universe is what you're going to get back, right? So
Yes.
set that intention every day, saying to yourself, I want to make positive choices and have, as much love that I can have for others, and you will get that back. But
Yes.
if your intentions, or you don't set any at all and you're just willy-nilly through life, I feel like you're not going to be getting all those great gifts that you could be getting
Right.
back in return.
Absolutely.
So another question that I'd like to ask you is, can anyone have Reiki done? I guess,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my question.
Anyone can have Reiki done. Reiki energy is never harmful,
Okay.
ever. It does not interfere with any medical treatment you may be going through. There literally is no reason why that I can think of that a single person would not be able to receive.
Yeah, as I was
Reiki.
writing down that question, I'm like, I can't imagine there would be like an example where somebody could not partake in such a healing and simple what am I trying to say, therapy of
Well,
goodness.
The thing is Reiki is provided, but it's really guided by whatever it is you believe in, whether it's guided by a higher source or guided by the universe or guided by your higher self.
Right.
It's guided by those things. A practitioner cannot demand or make energy do something within the body. It's really guided by whatever that client's highest and greatest good is.
I was going to ask you, one of my questions is, when you're performing Reiki, can you actually feel a blockage, or do you just like you're near a certain area and something's going on? Like, can you feel a blockage if that's a thing?
Yes. So, and I can't speak for all practitioners, because again, that practice period, especially as you move from level 1 training to level 2, it really is self-discovery.
Yeah.
So I would say yes, most practitioners, but how you feel it may change. I tend to have just I just know something.
Yeah.
I don't know why I know it. I don't try to explain it. I don't know. I just know.
Yeah. Yeah. Know
Other
that. Yeah.
people, right. Other people may get a message, like hear a verbal message. Also, even just within the hands, for some people, it's a temperature change. You know, if they're scanning a body, it could be a temperature change that they feel. It may be a breeze they feel. It may be a sensation, like tingling. So like, okay, which sometimes I feel like, okay, so everything's good. And then I'll reach out and like, it's really, my hand is really tingling when it's over this area. Wow. So there's something going on there.
Yeah. So you really have to be on your game, like every sense in your body, like your 5 senses have got to be, you know.
Well, you really have to tune in and because they're subtle.
Yeah.
They can be very, very subtle.
Right.
And again, at the beginning, I mean, I felt it. I've seen other Reiki practitioners who are starting out that doubt. Am I feeling it? I think I'm feeling something, but who knows? Maybe I'm not feeling something.
Right.
And it takes that practice to say, okay, I've felt this like 10 times on 10 different occasions, the same sensation. So I know that's something. Now, what does it mean? Figuring out, you know, what it means. And it's kind of individual for each practitioner.
Right. Because as we were discussing before, like how our brain can be complicated and trick us a lot, I feel like. If you are a new practitioner and you're feeling something, but then you can easily talk yourself out of it, I'm sure. Like, oh, that must have been, you know, a glitch or whatever.
Right.
So,
but it will come. It will come as a practitioner. It will come, and
yeah.
But I don't want to say that I am not implying that a practitioner who's at the beginning of their training versus is any less of a practitioner, because again, when you're giving Reiki, the energy is going to be used for the highest and greatest good of that client.
Yeah. How does one even become a Reiki healer? Like, what's the schooling, I guess?
Yeah, there are 3 levels of training, and you can take 1 level and be done.
Okay.
Because if you take 1 level, you are able to give Reiki to others, and you're also able to do self Reiki. And that was really something I wanted to bring up also, that a lot of people, especially maybe people who have been diagnosed with something that's chronic, may want to just do level 1 because they can do self Reiki.
Yeah.
And benefit from that. And then moving on to levels 2 and 3, it's not complicated. It's hard for me to describe, but a practitioner will learn more information and obviously have more practice, but also learn some other techniques, learn some symbols that have power.
And I feel like you would have to really know yourself more.
Yes.
Like
yes,
you said.
And that's really level 3. You know, if you decide to go into the level 3 training, you're kind of saying, I am making this a large part of my life and how I live it.
Right. Like you said, your intuition's got to be pretty spot on to, you know, detect things.
But I will say, you know, again, at the end of a session, depending on the client and what they want, I will share with you what I experienced. I can only share what I experienced. I can say, oh, you know, when I was over your hip area, like I was really drawn to your hip area.
Right.
On the right side. I don't know why. I don't know the sensations necessarily that they're feeling, but most of the time the client will then be able to take what I sensed and make sense of it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, yeah, I know why you were attracted to my right hip, because I fell, you know, out of a whatever. I fell and I've got a huge black and blue mark there, or throat chakra. Often I'll feel something there and I'm like, have you felt, you know, it feels like something's stuck. Have you felt shut down lately? Yes, I have. I was, walking with my friend this morning, and she was saying things that I absolutely didn't agree with, but I did not say a word. I'm like, well,
Yeah. Well, now I can sense the blockage.
Right, right.
Oh, wow. The things that you must see when you're each individual client.
It's really interesting. I have had some amazing experiences. I had one client actually and this was emotional healing. She grabbed me. I was standing above her head. She grabbed my arms, and she had a whole conversation with her mother, who had passed away.
Gosh.
But through this conversation, because I didn't say anything, she's talking, and she worked through this emotional release that she needed to do
in order to move on.
And she made peace with whatever it was, made peace with her mother, and then that was the end of it. And she, some pretty, and not most Reiki sessions are that dramatic, but sometimes they are. There's often an emotional release, because it's not just about physical ailments. Again, it's holistic. It's treating the whole person.
Right. The mind, body, spirit.
Yeah. For some people, they'll say, that was lovely. Thank you. I really didn't feel anything, but it was peaceful. Thank you.
Yeah.
However, there's usually still something happening, and I'll often see those people later, and they'll say, you know what? For days after that, I felt calm and peaceful and well.
Right.
Even though, so the actual experience on the table can, go from one extreme to the other.
Right.
What happens is going to be based on what you need as a person.
I think that the whole practice in itself is just, again, I find it all so amazing how each individual person can be craving certain things, and they can go out and find it through different modalities and different therapies, and Reiki is definitely one of them that, if you're open-minded to it, that, the sky's the limit. So
and I'm going to say, this is not really a Reiki thing. This is more of a personal belief, because of course there are many people who are like, what are you talking about? That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And usually what I say to them is, well, if you don't think that this would have an effect, that's fine. But I do think even just human touch in general makes a difference.
Well, that, and just the practice of when somebody is in a Reiki session, they are forced to lay down, or, not forced, but that's what they're supposed to be doing, or just in relaxing. Yes. So for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, however long the session is, your brain is kind of shut off. You cannot fold laundry. You cannot go grocery shopping. You cannot worry about your sister and go do things. It forces you to have to be present in that moment. And that in itself is amazing. So yes. Back to that sort of, you're either stressed or you're in healing mode. Right, exactly.
I do want to clarify, though, and I think a lot of holistic methods are viewed this way. It's not magic.
Right.
Meaning, you can't go to a practitioner, and although this sometimes has happened, but in general, you can't say, oh, I'm going to go have a Reiki session and I'm going to be relieved of whatever it is.
Right.
It's going to be gone. It's a healing process, the same process as if you went to a doctor. If you have an infection, he doesn't, or she does not give you one pill antibiotic and you're good in a day. It's a healing process. And Reiki is the same way. it may take more than one session to really get to the point of being healed.
Right.
And well.
How many Reiki teachers are at Peaceful Remedies?
We have 6, not including me, 6 right now that volunteer their time.
It's so amazing. So there's
because I don't know if I mentioned, there's nothing. No, I can't say nothing. Let me think. No, there's nothing that we charge people who've been diagnosed or caregivers for.
Nothing.
Everything is complimentary.
Wow.
So,
again, I wish there was one in my town. I wish there was Peaceful Remedies all over the place.
I've been asked in a couple different places to set up another,
facility,
office in Liverpool, and I was asked in Pennsylvania, and I thought, well, no, I would love to. Yeah, I want to spread it everywhere, but and I do think it would work, but I think it would be different. Mm-hmm. And by that I mean what we have here and the support of the community. It just makes it. I have never ever asked anyone in this community for something, whether it's a service or could you present or could you just give us could you give us stuff, please? Yeah. No one has ever said no, ever. Which is amazing. So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to wrap up our session. So thank you so much, Kim, for doing this podcast with me.
Thank you. I'm really happy to have done this, and feeling a little proud too. I haven't done this before.
I know it is. It's fun after you get going. Yeah. To all my listeners, please check out the Peaceful Remedies website. What is your website, by the way, Kim?
peacefulremediesoswego.com.
peacefulremediesoswego.com. If nothing else, just check out the amazing website and work that they have been doing, even if you don't live there, but you can be like me and admire it and hope that someday something like that comes into your area.
Well, I will say, we keep saying one of the good things that's come out of the COVID is we've had to do a lot of our support groups and our book group to Zoom, and that has allowed our reach. We have people from other states now involved in our support groups and participating in our book groups and participating in the things that we have going on via Zoom.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing that's come out of it, and we're going to continue doing those things so we can help people in our reach.
So yes, to all my listeners, check out the Peaceful Remedies website. And I'm going to go ahead and end our podcast. So hopefully you found this beginner's Reiki session podcast useful, and maybe check out a Reiki session soon for yourself. Thanks for listening.